What the fuck is that for, dude? They're not doing a great job of stopping drugs. But first, I'm thinking maybe there was some kind of threat or something made. They don't tell anybody. They just, all the security comes in. Wow. Did you hear that that Trump might be on Joe Rogan?
What?
What? But can you imagine if Kamala Harris got on there? There's no way she could handle Rogan for 3 hours. I had, at first, they were thinking it was some kind of seizure. She said, I stopped breathing. Things are so bad, we need to do something immediately here. This doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come
just a motherfucking jump. Just go. And here we go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. Your host, Troy Neff. Oh, what a weekend.
How was the weekend, man?
Yeah, Chase, how are you, brother?
Hello. I'm doing pretty good, man. Busy weekend.
Busy? Yeah. We went to Vegas.
Yeah. How was the Vegas game, by the way?
The Steelers Raiders. Well, the Steelers won. The Steelers won, and I didn't get to see it.
How come?
Well, my $2,000 tickets didn't get used because we drove to Vegas, right?
Uh-huh.
So we drive to Vegas, and we get to the hotel, and they have things blocked off weird, and we had to go up and around like this mall entrance drop-off, and we came around, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? There's this long line, and like you can't get to the hotel.
Okay.
So we figure out you got to get in line, and there's security everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like a security checkpoint. Like security you've never fucking seen before. Well, it was insane.
Okay.
Like the amount that they had, and it was Secret Service. So my first thought was, because of things that have been going on and a possible third attempt, the guy says no, he was a Trump supporter, but they did arrest a guy like outside of the Reno rally, and Trump was in Reno that day, right?
Okay.
So at first, I'm thinking maybe there was some kind of threat or something made.
Okay.
Nope. Trump was staying at the Trump International Hotel. He was staying at the hotel we were at. They don't tell anybody. They just, all the security comes in. And like, so we couldn't we could go in, and then to go in and out, it was such a pain in the ass.
Uh-huh.
Like,
no,
honestly,
imagine.
as much as I love Trump,
yeah,
and I do, I would not have stayed there if I'd have known he was going to be there to put up with that.
That's the second time now that you've gone on vacation and Trump is in the same area that
same
you
area,
are.
Yeah, Nashville. Yeah, but he didn't fuck up anything for me in Nashville, really. Except some reservations were not easy to get, but and the room was fabulous, right?
Uh-huh.
So we eventually get through, and the room is fabulous, but we needed something decent to eat.
Yeah.
So we went across the mall because we didn't want to get the car and go anyways, or like it just wasn't like that. So we go across the mall, and there was a California Pizza Kitchen. You ever had California
Kitchen pizza?
No, California Pizza Kitchen.
I don't think I've ever.
Then you've never had it.
No,
it's good, and they're just not everywhere.
Uh-huh.
You know,
is there some in Arizona or?
Yes, there is.
Is there?
In Scottsdale? There absolutely is, because I've been there,
Well,
and that's probably where I first had it.
What was it called? One more time, sorry.
California Pizza Kitchen. They even have frozen stuff in your
like a Walmart type
yeah.
thing. Or? Huh.
Yeah, see, it's right there, Scottsdale.
Of course, it's in Scottsdale.
Of course, everything good is in Scottsdale. But it's really good. They have really good salads, really good, thin crust pizzas, and just excellent. So Dawn had never been to one either. Well, we each get our own pizza, and we both order a half salad. And the half salad, you and I could split. Even if you like salad, this half salad, you can't eat all, right? I only have a couple bites of it.
Okay.
Because it just doesn't taste good to me. I've been talking about that, how with the COVID and everything, things have just not tasted.
Did not taste really good, yeah.
Even things I like don't taste good. And I only had 2 pieces of pizza. And on any other day, I smashed the whole thing. Because they're not huge, you know what I mean? But I normally would smash the whole thing.
Yeah.
It just did not Did
And
not work.
it wasn't the hunger. It was
So
more the
we
taste.
go back to the hotel,
Okay.
and I said, I wanted to relax or rest a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because, before evening activities, you know what I'm saying? Some evening
No, I
activities,
get
so
I
like,
get you,
I
I get
would
you.
it be good to go, It'd been a long day already.
You gotta recharge a little bit.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Apparently, I dozed off, and I really don't remember dozing off.
Mhm.
And it was like so brief. But I had, at first, they were thinking it was some kind of seizure, or that Dawn thought it was a seizure. She is an RN, right?
Yeah.
And that how my body froze up and tensed up. And then I came out real quick. And honestly, I got up. I didn't even believe her. I was like, I'm okay. What are you talking about? I was just watching what they're saying here. I was just trying to prove that I was
you were
okay.
fine,
Because
yeah.
like they were just talking about Oklahoma on the TV or whatever it was, And so I laid back down again. And it happened again. And this time it was longer. She said I stopped breathing. And like it was like a minute and a half. But she was able to shake me and I became awake. But I'm sweaty, I'm clammy. My heart had been beating fast. She called 911 at the hospital or at the Trump Hotel. So they came up and took me to Sunrise Medical Center. And I was there at Sunrise Medical Center until, I don't know, midday, like maybe around noon or something. I don't remember.
A good amount of the morning.
On Monday, yeah. And then we just drove here. So what is it? What's going on? Well, we don't know all the answers yet.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it was not like it probably wasn't a seizure. It was probably something that looked like it because there's this thing going on where I don't know how to describe it. I wish I had Dawn here to describe it because she knows this shit. But basically where every 2 or 3 pumps or, your
Heartbeats
heartbeats,
or whatever.
There's like an added one or something. Like however it looks on the chart.
Yeah.
What mine is doing is not normal on the chart.
Yeah.
And it's pretty obvious on the chart once everybody figured that out, that's what it was. And, they did a good job. I had MRI, I had CAT scan, I had shit put on my head. I had all kinds of stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And, what we decided to do was leave simply because if we really put it to them, like probably on Saturday, was like, look, we'll be here through Sunday, but, we're going to go home unless you have results that say things are so bad, we need to do something immediately here.
Yeah.
Like now we know what it is. We're taking you to the operating room,
Yeah.
And they couldn't do that. So the rest of the tests will be finished here. I have a cardiologist appointment tomorrow, and they'll get the records from the hospital, do what else they need to do, and figure out what it is. I don't think this was caused by COVID, but I do have to say that that having it at the same time, or maybe hid, because the exhaustion that I had, the fatigue, the body aches that I had, just and how much do you weigh right now?
Like 165 maybe?
I weigh 3 pounds more than you.
Only 3 pounds?
Yeah. Dude, if you look at this video later on, and then you go back to the video where I'm wearing the blood, sweat, and barbells t-shirt.
Yeah.
I look good in that video, dude. I'm busting. I'm like buff because I'm 200 pounds. And do you know, like I struggled for a long time to get to 200 pounds and even a little over 200 pounds back in the day, 15, 16 years ago. And then to just lose, I haven't been this light since I can't remember when. Really.
No, yeah. I mean,
and I don't feel good. Yeah, we were just talking about that. And it's a thing, like to think of all that hard work I put in, and I look in the mirror and I see now I look like that. Really, it fucks with my head.
100%,
I'm trying
100%.
to have it not fuck with my head. Really.
I mean, you can't do much about it now. You know, just got to keep your head up and
No,
think for the
and I'll
future.
get back at it,
Yeah,
as
100%.
soon as I have, clearance to do so, because I haven't worked out for about a week, because for most of the time I was struggling.
Mhm.
I was working out. They weren't
The
great
entire time,
workouts, but I was still working out,
doing some sort of like activity.
something.
To stay,
Yeah, the weights were lighter because I was weaker.
yeah. No, yeah.
Just couldn't have that. So it's a thing to have to fuck with you like that. But then there is nothing you can do for us that is better than sharing our videos. Share our podcast. Like it, please. Damn right. We want you to subscribe. But there's nothing better you can do for us to grow the show than share it. Sharing is caring. And I'm the fucking guy. On top of it all, I tried to sell the tickets on Ticketmaster. I brought them down to $750 and be less than everybody else, and they didn't go. So there's $2,000 gone in tickets. And what would have been a good game to watch,
Ended up being a pretty decent game too, yeah.
Well, it was a decent game. They played well. Fields was solid. Everybody was good.
So how does everything how do you feel about that? Like, how does that mentally been like?
That's
these
just
past few
money. I
days?
don't worry about that shit.
No,
when
not that,
happens.
but like the whole situation with as an overall that has that like.
An overall is just trying to be focused and do the things I do. Like the clients that I've dealt with from, I wouldn't say Friday night, from Saturday morning on, they have no idea that anything happened. Because first, I'm sorry I bothered you. Like, you didn't know something happened, so I don't even say anything about it.
Yeah,
business is business, and we've just kept doing business, and so that's kind of how. Yeah, I don't feel anything about it really, other than just keep doing it. Like, my energy level is not back to full, but it seems like yesterday and today that my appetite is a lot better.
Okay, that's
and
good.
Eating again and eating, more. So. Yeah, at Over Easy, I had steak and eggs.
Back to Over Easy. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I still, man, the orange juice there every single time. It's just so good. So good.
Yeah, we had it like the time before this. We had it. The orange juice tasted like it had pineapple, or not pineapple, grapefruit juice, and I guess it was some kind of different orange they had. It did not taste good.
No, a lot less flavor, a little more like bitterness almost to it. Or like sourness, kind of.
Didn't even look the same.
No.
Didn't even look the same. So, but it was good today. I can promise you that.
So do you have any plans for the future? Any trips coming up?
Yeah.
Any other football games?
Yeah, actually, football games. Actually, we're going to Colorado, Arizona on Saturday. And my friend Bob's coming to town at the end of this week with his wife. And we're going to have Bob on the broadcast here.
Yes, we are.
Do a show with him. Because he's an interesting character, and he is a character.
I'm interested here.
Yeah, he's really a good guy, and talk about him and his recovery. Being an addict, and he really hit the depths. I mean, like the traditional bottom that you think of an addict on the street. Yeah, I'll let him tell that story. That was him, and then also having to deal with AIDS, HIV, and beating that. And he just ran a race. He stopped at 70 some miles, but actually the first 50 was the best 50 miles. It was a personal record time for him.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to hear from him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because it'll cover everything.
Should be a pretty good episode then.
Yeah, it'll be our first one with a live guest.
With a live guest. Yeah,
you're
right.
Guest.
You're right.
Yeah.
We'll see how we figure that all out.
Did you hear that Trump might be on Joe Rogan?
What?
All
right. I forget who I just saw him on a podcast, actually. He's been doing a lot of podcasts recently, hasn't he not?
A lot. He was just on one that they think that said blew things really open. Not Fragment, some comedian.
Oh, yes, Flagrant. That's the one I was thinking
Have you seen that?
Yes.
You've seen that
I forget what his name
podcast?
is.
I want to see it. That comedian, I've seen that comedian before.
He's hilarious.
I think he was actually in the Tom Brady thing, wasn't he?
don't.
I'm
Oh,
pretty
the
positive.
roast. The roast.
For
Yes,
Tom
yes,
Brady.
yes, yes.
So
Andrew Schultz. That's
Andrew
his name.
Schultz.
That's his name. Yeah.
Yep.
No, he's hilarious. But yeah,
I don't understand why Charlemagne the God is liberal. I don't get it.
It's weird. It's not what I would have guessed for sure. But yeah.
Let's hear this. What do you got?
To take you out.
So I'm going to give you some big breaking news, right?
Aaron is 18, he's handsome, he's tall, he's rich.
He's got the whole ball.
He's unleashed in New York City. Are you sure you want to reverse Roe v. Wade now?
I'm going to make this country great again. It's not a great country right now.
It's always a great country.
See,
It's always a great country.
Okay, but I'm good with names, you know.
You are.
Right?
Tampon Tim was good. Is
The
that?
problem with Tampon Tim, it's hard to say. There are some, like Comrade Kamala. It's a little hard to say. She's not bad, but when you put the names together, it's a little, you got to be able to pume.
This is so funny.
You almost charmed us out of it.
Trying to get out of it. How are we doing so far?
You're doing amazing. So they're making us wrap up. We want you to
Give them a little more time. What the hell? These are great questions. What the hell? But they lie, and they know it's a lie. She lied about many things, and she's a liar. I have a hard time doing it to them. You know, I'm basically a truthful person, but frankly, no, but frankly,
That is so good.
Yeah.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, it should be a really good episode.
Yeah.
I watched the first like 5 minutes of it, and
Apparently it's
really
it's
good.
a pretty good sized podcast.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know. And popular, but he's reaching young men that haven't been reached before.
He's been going on a lot of different podcasts. Like I forget what the other.
And these are people that, you know, Trump's just not going on and doing interviews with people that are kissing your ass before you even get on there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's when you have Kamala do these interviews that she's done. These people are like right on her side. I mean, the Howard Stern doing that Howard Stern interview, dude, it's a joke. It's literally a joke. But yeah, so then the Rogan thing, I think it would be huge if that happened.
Was it like announced?
Like people are talking about it like yesterday and today, and yeah,
that would be a really interesting podcast.
yeah, I think so. I'd watch.
I'd be interested to hear what kind of questions Joe Rogan would have for Trump. I think that's the part where I'd find like I wonder what he would actually ask Trump.
He would ask what he wanted to know, and I think he would bring up things that might make Trump cringe, but Trump would answer him.
Okay,
do you know what I'm saying?
I know. I get what you're saying.
Trump's not afraid to do that. He's not afraid. Yeah, but can you imagine if Kamala Harris got on there? There's no way she could handle Rogan for 3 hours.
There's no way.
No motherfucking way.
That'd be hilarious, though. I mean, if she does do it,
she couldn't handle it.
That would be hilarious.
The one thing she couldn't handle. Nope. So you see, I got my USA shirt on. USA. What do people do when Donald Trump is announced at the Alabama football game? They, it was Alabama, Georgia. They chant USA, USA. You need your felon shirt. Only felons. Okay? He's going to put a picture of it over here. He's going to have like a little email, okay, if you want to get one. Okay, there's not a lot of time left. We got to make some people, let's just irritate some people between now and Election Day, right? It's a cool shirt. It fits good. It's comfortable. You'll really like it. All right? I'm the Outlaw Apostle. I'm Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Okay, I want to go to something else that's really important related to the election.
Okay.
Now, do you remember that Trump got charged with fraud because he overvalued a property, and he was sued or, prosecuted by was it a district attorney? Well, it was attorneys in New York.
Okay.
And he was convicted on $454 million penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you know what you haven't heard?
What's up?
that got overturned in an appeals court?
Really? When did that happen?
I wonder why you didn't hear about that.
Oh no, not to the
why?
public.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, this is just it happened at the end of September. And I didn't even know about it. I didn't even hear about it until about a week ago, and then I started looking into it. And it's just crazy to think that what are you guilty of if you borrow money and you pay it all back? Where's the fraud if you pay it all back? And if the potentially people you hurt were the people of New York City, the residents, where was the damage done to them? They didn't know Trump had a loan and he paid it back. How does it hurt them? It just doesn't that's why part of this case, or the appeals part, was should this have even been brought to trial? And what's really funny is at the end of the appeals hearing, is that they were basically begging to not get censured or to not, be penalized in some way. Yeah.
Oh, for bringing
the case in the first place.
Gotcha.
Because it was just such garbage that it doesn't happen. And even so, I don't know if it was Deutsche Bank. One of them said, the creditors that loaned him the money. One of them actually said that they would have loaned him the money no matter what, that it wasn't based on any of that stuff. It was based on the fact that they had done 20-some multi-million-dollar loans with him, and he paid everyone back. That they wanted to do business. And they took into account that they felt that what he listed as the value of his property was inflated. But they didn't care.
I was about to say, yeah, does that really?
No, it was more about, they listed it as equity and stuff like that, but it was more about, hey, Don, you need a loan? How much? That's basically, and he paid it back, and they're happy as shit. And they want to loan him more money. But you're going to say that's fraud.
Yeah. I don't.
This is the shit.
Really,
well, here's our felon.
Uh-huh.
That's the kind of thing he does. But that's just.
That's really funny, to be honest with you.
Isn't it?
Especially like when if you have them really like just being like, oh, sorry for bringing this all here, but.
And then they tried to ask him like, how did you bring this case when there's no other single case in the history of our court system that's anything like this? Can you name one? And they couldn't name one.
So were they penalized in any way afterwards?
No.
No.
Yeah. Here, state attorney asked about scope of case versus Trump if bank wasn't harmed. Much of the questioning by the New York State attorney involved the law that State Attorney General Letitia James, a Democrat, used to bring the action against Trump. So that's what it was. Justice David Friedman questioned the Attorney General's authority, given that Deutsche Bank is not saying they were harmed by Trump's actions. It hardly seems to justify bringing an action to protect Deutsche Bank against President Trump, which is what you have here, Friedman said. You have two really sophisticated players in which no one lost any money. Vail responded by saying the statute doesn't require that. It doesn't require what? Someone to lose or get hurt? She pushed back on the idea that Deutsche Bank wasn't harmed by the financial statements, saying the bank did complain when the allegations of false statements were raised and ultimately pulled out of the agreement. Moulton said the underlying issue behind the questions the Attorney General's scope was the question of mission creep. There has to be some limitation in what the Attorney General can do in interfering in these private transactions and actually using it to interfere in an election. Let's be honest about it. This is all done. Trump, they don't go after Trump on this fraud bullshit because it was fraud if he wasn't running for president.
God.
Yeah, this is just another thing to show they have done everything they can to try to get him out of the race, out of American life. They don't want to see him anymore. When it was to their benefit, they did.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
just
once
crazy.
it starts to hurt their own pockets.
But yeah, I wanted to at least share that because I'm sure there's a lot of people, like me, or even people that how many liberals would know, and they're not going to tout it on the internet. But I mean, I'm a good conservative, and I didn't know that this had been dropped.
I
Now.
mean, if you wouldn't have brought it up, I would have
Yeah.
no idea at all.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw on the weekend for news was that there was like a third attempt on Trump or something like that. I didn't even really look into it, but
Yeah, there was a couple guns and a
was it anything?
car.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
But,
can look
yeah.
that up if you want.
that's the only thing that.
Yeah, he was just armed.
I mean,
I don't know if it was a thing or not. But
excuse me.
I can tell you what, that guy wouldn't have made it through that checkpoint I had to go through. That's another thing I want to find out.
Uh-huh.
Have you been to California?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone from Arizona to California?
Yeah.
And when you cross the Arizona-California border,
Uh-huh.
there's like a security checkpoint there.
Uh,
I've never been stopped, but there's a checkpoint there.
Yeah, there is a checkpoint there. Sometimes they're actively stopping people. Sometimes they're
Yeah,
not.
I've never been stopped
Mhm.
ever. What the fuck is that for, dude? It makes me feel like I'm going from one country to another.
I mean, I know. I forget the one.
I'm allowed to freely travel from state to state. That's part of the Constitution.
I don't know if they like recently passed, because I know like they said like in 2026 you're gonna have the travel ID or something like that to be able to travel within state to state or something like that.
What?
I might be misremembering something, but I do remember like a few years back when the whole like travel ID first came back. There was like a whole.
That's for flying with your ID
Is it
to
the
Mexico
is
and
it the-
Canada
oh, okay.
without having a passport.
No, but yeah, I've been stopped a few times, but like if they'll have like
What did they do?
like guard dogs, they'll have like dogs like go around the car or whatever. It's just like just so
That's
people aren't like
insane,
like
dude.
smuggling drugs or like people or anything like that.
You just don't have a right to randomly stop me.
But they do.
Where's the?
They
They do something. Guy just walked out. As I slowed down, he said, "Have a nice day," and so we picked up and kept going.
Yeah, a lot of the times, like if I remember correctly, because there's the one going towards San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
That one, every time we pass by, there's always like a lot of people there, and they're constantly. They'll tell you like, "Oh, we'll have you pass through here," and I think they have like infrared or things to see like heat things or something. I really don't know.
Okay.
But it's like
I'm
one
going
of
to
those
look
things
into it
where
because
they-
I'm going to know why they do it. That's just weird
I'm
as
pretty sure
fuck,
it's just
man.
for like drugs, like for people like smuggling drugs and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the thing that like most of those places are like set.
Dude,
to
if
be.
that was such a good thing at stopping drugs, they're not doing a great job of stopping drugs into California.
Oh no.
And you can't tell me it's all coming by sea then. So, and if it was a good thing, then every other state or a lot of other states would be doing it. I've never seen any setup like that in any other state in this country.
Really?
Yeah, really. I've been a lot
Um,
of places. Have you been somewhere you saw it?
Yeah, a lot of Arizona has a lot of that, like the outskirts of Arizona, like going into Texas and like going into like
This was California's. Was that Texas's thing or was it an Arizona thing?
I think
Because
there's
if it was an
one on
Arizona
both
thing,
I think there's one on both ends. Like,
I don't know.
if I remember correctly, there's one on like technically Arizona territory, but it's controlled by I think California police, if I remember correctly.
But that's California. That's not Texas. We were talking about Texas.
Oh, the Texas one, I'm pretty sure is a Texas thing, because a lot of
I'll
the
see.
like outer skirts.
But I'm
of,
still like that.
Texas,
I don't know
like
of
in
any
El
other one.
Paso and like, but that, again, that's like closer to going into like Mexico and stuff like that. Because there's a border that we share with is it New Mexico and Texas, I believe, that
Mhm.
also can technically cross Mexican border. If here,
I
let me
don't know,
see.
man. You got me lost now. I'm not a fan of New Mexico either.
No, I'm
No,
not a
I
fan
just
of
don't
one.
like driving through the state, man. It's just weird.
It's a lot of it's a lot like dry land too, so like it's just like
And it's not pretty land really either.
right.
All right, what do you?
So like this freeway here will cross like this is technically Mexico right here. or Mexicali or whatever. So there's
They let part of our road into their country?
it's technically in the U.S., but like if you take one small like turn to the right, I believe it's so like the main freeway like is here. It's like right there. So it like rides the border.
Okay.
But there's a street somewhere around here that will just like take you straight into Mexico.
Okay.
Right here. And so they'll have like border things like here and back
Well,
here
yeah.
because of like that.
Of course.
But that's the only.
That's a
but I
different
think like
animal.
I think San Diego is the same thing because it's it's like closer to like because it's closer to Mexico, so they'll have that there to make sure that so people aren't like smuggling.
No, I
people.
get it. Yeah, we know that. I understand that. I was
Like
really
like this freeway here. I don't know if you ever or highway.
No,
I don't know if you ever taken this one, but I know this one here. They'll have something in Yuma. That's what it is. They
I've
have
been
one
down
on
in Yuma.
both ends of Yuma. But
All
yeah,
right.
at least. But again, I go to Mexico a lot, so I tend to be on the southern end of a lot of these states. So I personally have seen them quite often.
Yeah, but again, I think there's a big difference between ones going from the Mexico border and any state border. I'm talking about from state to state. That do we have one
But I'm
going from Arizona to Nevada? No, we don't.
No.
We don't have one going from Washington to Oregon. We don't have one going from Ohio to Michigan, Ohio to Pennsylvania, Ohio to Tennessee, Ohio to Ohio to Kentucky, Ohio to Indiana. We don't have them. I've driven from a couple thousand miles from Ohio here, so that's going through Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and then Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You get then Texas, New Mexico. There ain't any of them on any of their roads, big roads, from one state to another. And if they're not going to have them on the biggest roads, going from one state to another, they're not going to have them somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no benefit to only having it, in one place. But every place I've crossed to get into California, I've encountered one. That's my point.
I honestly couldn't tell you as to why, but
yeah.
But I do remember
It's okay.
the southern.
Yeah, well, that makes
States always
sense.
have
Of
number
course.
ones.
Yeah, they've always
Yeah.
had it down there. So next up for us in the show is that we're going to be having our first live podcast. Not live podcast, but our first live guest in a podcast.
I was like, live? Oh, that's
Right.
news to me.
And then we're also going to be having shortly our second guest who will not be in our little studio here because we want to get into more of some of these interviews. I definitely want to do that and see what happens. So here's what I'm kind of go back to when we first started today and give some people some ideas of what I'm going to be doing. Well, first of all, not being able to work out or anything, I'm dropping like the strictly TRT dose of testosterone. Okay. And I'll still do my HGH because there's nothing in there that can interfere or anything with what we're doing. And I'll do that until I get clearance. And then I don't know how long this is going to last as far as tasting food, but I got to find something that I can eat that I can put the weight back on, even if it doesn't taste the best. I got to find whatever that does taste the best to me. And once that happens, I can get a couple things. I don't care if that's all I fucking eat, dude.
As long
I don't care.
As long as you look good, right?
Because I certainly don't like looking like this.
No, I feel that.
Yeah, it's really, really hard.
I forget what bodybuilder said it, but he's all like, it doesn't matter if it tastes good or not. Like if it's your calories, got to get them down.
Yeah, I'm not. I had oatmeal in one of my diets one time, and I bought this big thing of oatmeal. I gave it away. I couldn't even choke it down, dude.
Really?
I fucking hate. Not a big oatmeal person. I literally hate oatmeal. If there was only oatmeal left, I would die.
Yeah.
I would die. I can't eat it.
That's interesting.
That shit's garbage. I
oatmeal.
don't like the taste. I don't like
The
anything.
texture.
And I can't it tastes so bad to me that I don't understand how other people can like it. You know what I mean? I get it.
It's like cereal in a way. That's like the best way for me to, because there has been times in the past where I've eaten like oatmeal in the morning and I just feel disgusting, like at the texture,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's not very good. But
It's not good.
I just I stuff it with fruit and nuts and tell myself that it's cereal and get through it.
And like any injuries that I've had, you know, I'll work in
Mm-hmm.
and do it, and I just know, you know, it's gonna probably take 60 to 90 days, but that'll be
To
from the
fully,
point
like,
when
get
I
back.
can actually fully start
Yeah.
and do that. You know, until then, I'm just gonna have to deal with what's going on in
Do
my
they-
head and the
do they
body just
Give you
dysphoria.
like any like estimate at all, or are they
What's
just did the doctors give you any estimate on like the
No, because we don't have any conclusions
not
yet.
sure.
And then they wanted to put me in the hospital on some, you know, heart diet, and like they weren't giving me salt. Doctors are idiots about salt. And then they had like this nutrition woman come in,
Uh-huh.
right? Dude, I didn't give her 2 minutes, man. Dude, she was 300 pounds. Get the fuck you gonna come in here and talk to me about food? What do you fucking know about food besides putting it in your mouth? Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit, dude. No problem.
The
No serious.
nutritionist
Yep.
was over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's always weird to me how they can hire someone like, because I like, again, you know, you're not supposed to judge the book by cover or whatever, but like it
Well, she
reflect-
may
it
know what
reflects,
learned.
like-
she learned whatever she learned in the book.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah, but that
She-
doesn't reflect
she doesn't know
the
how
way
to
she apply
it.
Exactly.
It's horrible, man.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
No, I got my diet. I'm all
understand how-
good.
you understand
I'm
food,
all
yeah.
good. There ain't nothing they can tell me about it that I don't know.
Is there anything that you stopped taking at all, like vitamin wise or anything like that, or are you still taking like your regular vitamins?
Yeah.
and-
Regular
nothing
vitamins
else
and
changes,
the Thrive stuff, that having all the vitamins and minerals you need every day, that nothing about that changes.
Yeah, it's just
No.
you said less.
Less, you know, I'm
HGH.
I'm gonna do the HGH. I'm just dropping the amount of testosterone I'm
okay.
taking to TRT dose.
Gotcha.
Because I had lost weight and gained it back and was feeling really good,
Mhm.
and I was on a cycle, and so now I'm not on that cycle anymore. So just to stay, I'm going to be at what any normal man who has low T should be at.
Mhm.
That's what I'm going to do,
Okay.
basically. And that's the other thing that bothers me, that when I look in the mirror,
Mhm.
I look normal. Do you understand what I mean?
Normal's not good
Like
enough. No, I get you.
like thin at 168, and I had seen 172 like last week,
Mhm.
and I didn't know if it would have dropped or not, so I checked today and it did, and that just drove me insane because I just have a, you know, very lean body.
Mhm.
Now, some people like that. There's no disrespect to people who like lean bodies. I don't. I worked to sculpt my physique on purpose, you know, and then to not have that, and then to have my face, you know, even more sunk in, it just it makes me look, in my opinion, 15 years older than I looked 3 weeks ago.
No, I feel you.
Fuck that, man. That's not it. That's not it. So, you know, maybe this can help somebody else that goes through this too, and just talking about it and being open about it, you know. I didn't have to say a fucking thing about this today.
Mhm.
But, you know, part of my show, my podcast, is about me and just showing what potential we have. And if I can influence someone else to be their best,
Yeah.
great. And we all go through things. You know, life happens to us all. And that's why I want to share it, so that, you know, people just,
Get some
so they can
motivation,
identify with
yeah.
me, you know, a little bit and get together. So we're going to make this one a little bit shorter than normal today,
Wow.
but it is,
We barely even hit 40 minutes.
it'll be one of our shorter shows. Maybe people will listen to it more.
We're just getting the extra time to next week's episode because it's gonna have a guest on it. That's why.
Yeah. Well, we still got one more before that. So Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we still got Thursday coming up. We'll do that. So we'll do that, and we're out of here.
Hell
This
yeah.
is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm Troy Neff, your host. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces.